everyone out there in TV land.
Peace and blessings.
Welcome to the Gated Gates podcast. This podcast is a byproduct of the Kebtah mission and the life's work of the Maakmaah Neb Naba Lamoussa Morodenibig. My name is Kebtah. I'm a member of Kebtah community, which is a comprehensive membership of people from all walks of life concerned with the common goal is to promote and preserve humanity's indigenous culture for the well-being of not just myself or this fine gentleman here, but for all people. Kebtah is also commissioned by the Gumu Kingship of Burkina Faso. All respect and praise is due to His Majesty Untamba and Captain Ibrahim Traore. May our allegiance to the divinity within us carry us forward and shine like a light within the darkness. So, with that being said, how you doing today, sir?
I'm well, sir. How about yourself?
I'm good.
It's a pleasure to be on Gated Gates. Thanks for the invite.
Yes, sir. I'm here with none other than Kasabez, Maakmaah. The list is long. There's many things that I can say about Kasabez, and I'm really glad to be kicking off a new chapter of Gated Gates with Kasabez here. He's been a part of the mission for more than 15 years.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been one, as we say.
Yeah, and just in the time that we haven't been going live or doing Gated Gates for some time, I've really been thinking about how important it is to highlight some of the elders or elders in the mission who have been doing this for so long. There's so much that you've been exposed to. There's so many things that you've seen in your travels to Medita. You've been traveling here to West Africa for more than 10 years at this point. Really that entire time, right?
Yeah, my first trip here was in 2007.
Wow.
So I've been back and forth, especially in the last 5 years to and from Burkina Faso and Togo especially, quite a bit.
Bro, I was in 8th grade.
Really?
I was in the 8th grade.
Wow.
And you were here. Like, that's amazing to me. It just doesn't, like, I can't even, quantify, like, what that actually means, like, over that amount of space and time.
I feel myself getting older, but still being called an elder it's got to grow on me, bro. It's got to grow on me.
I feel you. Well, yeah, it's always from a place of really, it's not really about age, it's about intelligence, and the work that you're doing for real, the experiences that you're having, and what that contributes to this great mission. Like I was saying, Kebtah community is now, Kebtah itself, as a nonprofit, is now commissioned by the Gumu, and what that means for this mission and this reclamation that so many of us are trying to get towards, it means a lot. And you've seen it even before that sort of formal commission happened. So can you talk a little bit about your experience just kind of with the mission itself of Kebtah? Because a lot of people may know about the knowledge or the information that Kebtah has offered in past years. But now that the mission itself kind of has its own drive forward to move forward these initiatives that are environmental, social, things like that. How have you seen that grow from your first times here up until where it is now?
Wow, man. That's a big question. I mean, I'll say this, you say being an elder is about intelligence. Me, I wake up every day and I still feel like a baby. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to be a part of something that has a depth and a level of maturity to it where it forces you to like be humble and feel like, wow, whatever you think you know, there's like so much more to it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what being in this mission has been to me. It's not new to say that Kebtah has been commissioned by Gumu. I mean, from the outset, this mission has known different names in terms of how it faces the public, but it's an ancient mission that goes back a very long time, is as a mission of, first of all, preservation of the ancient traditions that humanity depended on for our understanding of ourselves, understanding of the world, and what all this thing means just to be alive in this world. What being here on this planet is about. The basic questions about life that we so often skip over because maybe we just think that there's not really even a way to know for sure, or we think that it just has to come down to a belief because no one really is going to be able to explain it to you. But believe it or not, people have been on an honest search for these answers for longer than we can probably think civilization has been going on. So that's what this mission is about, as far as I'm concerned. It's just about finding answers for humanity about how to live, how to be. And that's what it's always been. So from the outset, Neb Naba Lamoussa Morodenibig, who you referenced before, the founder of the mission, the one who brought these ancient traditions to the United States, he had the permission of the royalty of the Gumu Kingdom from that initial trip that he took to the United States, and even previous tours that he did in Europe and throughout Africa as he was trying to discover the secrets, trying to piece things together in terms of what he can bring to humanity to kind of get us back on track, because it's clear that we've been going off course for a long time. And it's probably been no clearer than it is right now in terms of the desperate need that we need for a new direction and a new source of direction. Because you can look at all the people who are claiming to be for change, for positive change for humanity in different ways, and it's you have one side over here, one side over here, and they fight and they protest and they counter protest, and it's clear to the honest human being that they both just trying to figure it out as they go along, and when they can't figure it out, then the best thing they can do is throw the other side under the bus.
Right.
But they don't really have answers for us, and they never really have. So it's just becoming more and more obvious as it gets more ridiculous.
Yeah, even you saying that brings up an interesting point where I value this work so much because I can see how it sort of helps you to back away from all of the political, social, so-called social hoopla that's out there, in the media, where you have one of Kaji Zaniman's favorite phrases is right wing, left wing, same bird. Right. And then now you have the liberals who kind of float in this area in between the two, and they just throw everybody under the bus. They don't like Democrats for this reason, they don't like Republicans for that reason, but they themselves somehow exalt themselves above the both of those when they just float between the two. Right. But it's because they have it's that when there's nothing sort of anchoring you to say that we're all fighting for this specific thing, to keep this specific thing alive, then there's, you can kind of just do that as much as you want, with whatever you want.
I mean, when you don't know any better, you got to try to do what you can do.
Yeah.
And for me, that's why it became very important, because it just was kind of clear, and I don't know how I came to this realization early in life that there's not really a place for a human being who honestly wants to know the truth about things in the modern society. And there's not. Wow. And so it doesn't matter whatever you call yourself, nobody has the answers. And so you're going to have to go someplace completely different. You're going to have to go someplace that doesn't have those modern influences entrenched in it. And you know how, what's one of those movies where, like, you know, there's like some being that comes and possesses another being, and it's like, you know, it totally takes over the person,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Borg or something. From I'm trying not to go way back in history. I know that might be
There's a
before your
movie,
time.
I think Bird Box is like that, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. So it takes over. So there's something some
Yeah.
entity that takes over the person. So it's like that's how the modern system works, you know. And you can go all over the world. You can see people who have been more or less seduced or enticed by this model of what a modern life should be, like democratic values, liberal values,
Right.
modern economy, uh, religions,
Exactly.
or modern education system, sciences, and all these type of things, and they kind of like base their lives on it, and their whole way of life is seen through that lens. And it's something where, it's something I've been wanting to talk about, and this is a good place to introduce it, because there's a lot of talk about white supremacy nowadays.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, people, you hear that word thrown
Yeah.
around a lot
I get what
about
you're
like
saying.
who's a white supremacist, oh, these you know, racists, this or that, and it's like it's not really about race. It's not really about what the skin color of the person is. It's like standing for a system, standing for a set of values, standing for a set of ideas that we can see has been destroying the world and putting the whole humanity in slavery almost over the past 1,000, 2,000 years or so. You know, before it's been going on a long time.
Yeah.
It's a system,
Yeah.
and so that's people all over the world, they stand up and they want to stand up under the system, and it doesn't matter how dark or light your skin is, you stand for that system, and then it's like, well, what do you have to offer the world but destruction? So like, where can you go where you don't end up being contaminated? I mean, we all gonna end up being contaminated by
A little
it, I guess.
bit. A little bit.
but where you can at least have something that isn't based on that. You know what I mean? That didn't grow from that soil. You get the point? Like something where it has a foundation that is not based on a Greco-Roman ideology. And so,
And honestly, a lot of the time people don't get that that's a part of the thing. I actually saw a video the other day on Instagram, and it was this girl, she was basically saying like, I'm on Instagram all the time and I'm seeing all of these different weird groups that end up showing up like, get away from the system with this, get away from the system with that, get away from the system with this. But then it just ends up being another weird group. And now you have to follow their rules, and I'm done with it. And I commented on it actually, and I was like, that for people to be a part of and to have their little weird rules, but it's when are you going to stop that sort of futile action of saying, I don't want to follow anybody? When you have to follow something.
yeah, you got to follow some rules.
Exactly.
People got to get together and function as a collective based on a set of rules, based on a hierarchy, based on some values. You can't just say you throwing all that out the window.
Right.
People will say it's the patriarchy, it's this, it's that, and then, these systems nowadays that people are following are degenerate copies or maybe corrupted versions or plagiarized versions that have been kind of like used, like plagiarized versions of an original thing.
Right.
I'll give you an example, okay? You have Christianity, right? When I was young, I found out that there's other religions.
Right.
And some of those religions are called myths.
Okay.
What's a myth? A myth is a religion that nobody believes anymore. But at one point, people believed it.
Okay.
Anything you call a myth is something that people believed at some point. Now, and this is just a question I ask myself, like, okay, if people are telling me about Jesus today, will that be a myth tomorrow?
Damn.
Then the question is like, what about these myths? Is it possible that even the myths, what now people are calling the myth, because everyone has decided that Jesus is the one, is there something that we're calling a myth today that's actually the truth that people got taken away from? Because you can see similarities between different religious, spiritual practices. Like if you look at Christmas trees, you look at Easter eggs. There's different symbols that are used in Christianity that actually come from pagan rituals. And then what do those come from, and so on. So there's a string in history. You can't just cut it off.
And then make one thing a myth and not the result of it, the myth too.
And so the problem nowadays with I think the progressive movements is that you want to get rid of everything that you feel like is traditional, that you feel like is conservative, that you feel like is kind of, restrictive to human behavior. And without understanding that that's the last things we have left kind of remaining in mainstream society that comes from those origins that have been corrupted. So I would go so far as to say this: the ones who invented some of the modern ideologies, and I will go so far as to even say the modern religious systems, the modern political systems, they took something that was already in existence that was working for humanity and said, hey, we're going to make our copy and we're going to use it because we want to be the ones in control. And it had nothing to do with them believing in the qualities of whatever they're teaching people, because you can see clearly that those people who are talking about democracy, it's only when it's convenient for them.
Word.
There's a sister, a member of our organization, who actually for our Sunnyside podcast coming up, we're going to be interviewing her. Her husband is a political prisoner in Cameroon.
Wow.
Cameroon has like the oldest president in the world. He's like 90 years old. Paul Biya is his name. And he's been a faithful lapdog for France. Okay. So nobody talks about, how they'll say the election was rigged in this country, this like what they did with Maduro in Venezuela. He's not the legitimate president. We're gonna go take him.
Wow.
Right? But they're not gonna say that about Paul Biya. They just had a very controversial election. Nobody has heard about it. And then there was a brutal crackdown on protests, and protest leaders were arrested. And the brother, I don't want to butcher his name, but I'm going to try to say Jukam Chamini, her husband, he was one of the opposition leaders, or kind of organizers to try to make sure the election goes right. Wow. He's in a prison. He's in a prison right now.
That's crazy.
And then another opposition leader, I think, recently died in prison over there. So the point is, like, they don't care about democracy if the person who's in charge is serving their interests. Right? In other cases, it can be a dictator. It can be someone who came to power through a military coup. In some cases, they'll be like, he's not legitimate. But then it's like, well, if he's cooperating with us, we can turn the other. So it's the same way. It's the same way with Christianity. A lot of people are profiting. A lot of people are profiting off of Jesus. A lot of people are profiting.
Did you see that Drewski skit? He was flying through the church.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I love that. That actually, I hadn't heard of Drewski before. Believe it or not, yeah. That was my first time seeing Drewski. I saw something on Facebook about it. Please don't mess with the camera, sir. I saw something about Drewski on Facebook.
Put her on camera.
Yeah. She wants to love.
Some shine.
Yeah. You too, young man. Yeah, I can't help but be a parent.
Come on.
Like he's over here standing by.
Exactly. Howzy, tell us what's on your mind.
Nothing.
No, it's not nothing. There's no way there's nothing up there. Come on, tell us one thing that's on your mind.
What do you think about the camera? Is it cool? Did you know a phone can be a camera to put people on TV?
Nothing? Nothing now?
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Like, this for posterity. You know, he's gonna see himself in 20 years. I was on Gator Gates. Now they got 1 million. Look, he's one of these days he's gonna be the host.
Exactly.
We're gonna pull out the vaults. You know, yeah, and that's for them. It's for them. Like whatever we're doing.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You know, we gotta understand that there's a new generation that's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, I know a lot of people are taking the approach like, I don't want to bring kids into this world.
Yeah, that still gets me. Like I'm the guy at the party that's like, let's sit down and have a conversation. And Medicata knows, that's why she's looking at me like that right now. I swear, we were at one of our friends' engagement party, I think it was, and you know, my female friends are attractive, so I'm always like, where's your man? Like, what's going on? Like, how is this not working out? You're a professional, you're fine, and you dress well. Like, it's not like you're a bum. Like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And then we'll sit down and have the conversation, and it's always like, I either don't want to bring kids into the world, the dating pool is trash. And it's just like, once we actually talk through it, I'm like, there's no way that you actually believe the way that you're talking to me about like life.
I mean, people are trash, man. We are trash.
Yeah, it's true.
We're more or less we're trash. I mean, but the thing is, like, you're trash, I'm trash. Let's just be trash together. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Fair point.
What else are you gonna do? I
Fair
mean,
point.
you know, just admit that we trash. Okay, just accept it. Like that's the thing. We in denial and thinking things are not supposed to be what they are.
That's true.
You know, like I have my moments. Everybody has their moments. That's what I'm saying. I could wake up every day and feel like a baby. I don't feel like I'm this like. I'm like this person who's like the guy or whatever. Like, how can you be the guy and then you just have the moment of like, hey, did I just do that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And it's like,
but then when you dismiss that moment, almost for like a doubt on the self, rather than like being, I guess, like confident about every single thing or every single action that you take, then there's no like self-reflection.
Yeah.
And that's what I find a lot of the times when I am talking to those female friends about like not wanting to have kids or not wanting to be in relationships. It's like, damn, there's really like this sort of, and it's weird because it's like an overconfidence. Like I got a job, I don't need no man, so on and so forth. It's like an overconfidence on one half, and then you're not confident somehow because it's not working.
Yeah, but it's just ideology.
Yeah.
How so many people saying the same thing?
Word.
It's coming from somewhere. You see.
Word.
But the point is, like, I mean, I can see why, and I've had the same question. Like, is this kind of world the kind of world I want to be in? Because you have to feel like, okay, you want change. You see what happens for people who fight for change and stand for change, and they're uncompromising. You see what happens.
It's true.
And if you say, I'm 100% about that anyway, then you have to be ready for something.
What comes
You
with
have,
it?
you know, you have to be ready that something's going to come with that, you know. And then at the same time, then to say, okay, I want to bring children, who's going to be like helpless little people who I have to somehow try to protect in the midst of all that. And yeah, so it's a little scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
But if you don't, what's it all for anyway?
Yeah.
That's like, you know, that I think is like admitting defeat. you feel like there's no way I can bring in the next generation and protect them, then it's like you gave up already.
Right. Because somebody did that for you.
Exactly.
To even be able to have that like view on life or that opinion on life, it's because somebody already did that for you, and now you're almost like placing a judgment on what they had to go through in order to get you like where you are.
And you're placing a judgment. This is the one that's tricky. You're placing a judgment on whatever you think your children are going to have to go through, or whatever you don't want them to go through, or whatever you think you're going to be able to stop them from having to go through. Like, people go through it. For us to be here,
Right.
we've gone through things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the person who I am today if I haven't gone through it, if I haven't gone through a lot. And then anyone who you can see is a great person, I think they've been through some things. Whether challenges that life put on them, or challenges that they put on themselves to, if you want to be great, you got to challenge yourself, right? So that's it's something that we got to accept. Like, our children are going to have to go through things too, and then you can't be the one to say, I can't accept my children going through that, because that's like, I mean, the thing, why people go through things, because they want to be alive.
Word.
But if you never was born, you can't be alive. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a logic. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what else to say to that.
I get what you mean. I wanted to ask you about something because as a Black American, so to speak, growing up in the city of Newark myself, and you being from Chicago. Are you from Chicago?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
Okay. So, it has its parallels, urban cities that have specific reputations out in the world, with high murder rates and things like that, contributing to how we look at the cities and how we are taught to function in the world as, so to speak, Black Americans. I came across this video the other day, and this guy was talking about how, like, we're not angry enough, but he actually kind of flipped it on his head, and he was saying that there's a sentiment that a lot of people are putting out, saying that we're not angry enough when certain things happen, either coming from the media, like this video came out the other day that Trump, posted on X with Michelle and Barack, and people are saying that we're not angry enough, but he kind of flipped it and was like, power doesn't bow to anger. Like, it doesn't care about anger at all.
Right.
Free speech is an avenue for you to get all of the anger out so that you can make other people angry, and then everybody can be angry and screaming at the top of their lungs, but it's just another moment to be capitalized on by power, because it takes people to have power. So if everybody
They're looking out.
Oh, I mean, it's going. Yeah. Press the button. Oh, okay, you have to turn it back on. Let's see what we got cut off.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we still live. Okay.
Should I start over, or what? Do you know where we?
I think it was good. It was good.
So I was saying, 2004, this is when a man who's now famous, named Puff Daddy, was having his Vote or Die campaign. Vote or Die.
Oh, yeah.
And who are you going to vote for? Okay, mind you, this is 2004.
Okay.
2001, 9/11 happens.
Okay.
The United States invades Iraq. No, Afghanistan in 2001, 2002. 2003, for no particular reason that anybody can really, make sense of, that doesn't have to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Conspiracy theories. The United States invades Iraq. Okay, so this is 2004, and we want Bush out. And who are we going to replace him with? John Kerry. That's right, John Kerry, who nobody has talked about since.
Yo, for real.
And so we're going to vote or die.
Damn.
That was that Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs had a campaign called Vote or Die.
I forgot all about this. Yo, that's crazy.
And they were giving people money. They were paying people $1 to $2 per person that you register to vote. So some people who I was affiliated with invited me to go to Newark on a bus tour. There was a tour bus that went from Minneapolis, which is also in the news lately, to Chicago. And then from Chicago to Kalamazoo, Michigan, to Cincinnati, Ohio, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Harlem, New York,
Wow.
then to Newark, New Jersey. And we went to all these cities to register voters.
Wow.
Something in me, I was too idealistic at that age. I didn't register one person to vote.
Really?
But I did go on the tour, and I visited all these people, and I talked to these people, and most of these cities, in fact, every city except Chicago, because, it's Chicago. All of these cities, we went to the projects and registered people to vote. We did not go to Chicago. We went to projects in Harlem. We did not go to the projects in Chicago.
That's crazy.
Okay, but anyway, and we didn't go to the projects in Newark either, because the convention was there. We just went there for the convention, so I didn't get to see the Newark projects. I'm not going to speak on those either, but the point is, in 2004, all those cities, there were active plans to tear down the projects. They were kicking people out of the projects in all those cities at the same time.
At the same
time. Okay, anger, right? Okay, people losing their homes. First of all, people being crowded into these type of places and put in these, and then whatever happened in the projects across America, and then they're gonna kick all these people out and send them where, right? We could be angry about that. If you want to think of things to be angry about, you add that one to the list. There's a big list. There's so many lists of things people would be angry about. I went to Newark. We're in the convention, right? One night, I'm with the guy and some of the other sisters who were traveling with us, and we went, let's go walk down the street and get some pizza in downtown Newark, because we were at this hotel in downtown Newark. It's downtown. And I'm from Chicago. So I with my other guy from Chicago. We, on the way back to the hotel, got our pizza and everything like that. It's like me and another guy and like 3 girls. It's like we're not deep at all. Okay. These dudes, man, they roll up on us, and we just like, what's up, bro? And they're like, brother, we like what you're doing over here with this, convention. Like, well, let's tell you something, brother. They tried to make a law. They could shoot niggas down in the street.
What?
I was like,
crazy.
And me and the other guy were just looking at each other. Every time we see each other, we got to tell the story. It's like, we just like, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, anyway, it ended up being fine. Point is, there's a lot of anger out here.
Yeah.
People out here angry. It's probably this group of dudes is out here and they have something to be angry about. They weren't mad at us at that moment.
Exactly.
And they didn't take it out on us. But you could see the anger. It's like it's spilling out. All of these people came together on the idea of hip hop having a political convention. Guess what came out of it? Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Dang.
I mean, I'm not going to say nothing. Ras Baraka was there. He's now mayor of Newark. I believe his dad. Amiri Baraka was there. It was different hip hop personalities and things like that. But the point is, like, there was no agenda that was developed that became a movement out of that. And so you come together on an emotion. People come together on an emotion. Oh, we're so mad. You can see it all over the country. I'm so mad, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Meanwhile, these people out here who are armed to the teeth,
Or
standing on the Second Amendment,
uh-huh.
because the Second Amendment says if the government gets out of control, it's the responsibility of the people to come and then rise up and then take it out of power and restore order. And that's why people need to have guns. That's what the Second Amendment technically is for. I mean, I can't say that's how it's used. I'm just saying when they wrote it into the Constitution, that was the idea.
That's what it was for.
That was the idea. And so you talked about freedom of speech, the First Amendment, freedom of assembly, all these freedoms, blah, blah, blah. That's an idea that's, it came out of a particular time in humanity. Around the same time as American independence, there was something called the French Revolution. And they decided they wanted to overthrow the king. And these people got together and they overthrew the king. They beheaded the king. And then it led into a whole 10 to 15 years of out of control power struggles where different factions were just killing each other outright just for anything, just no reasons, just kill. Right. And then my question is, are we ready for something like that in America?
Seriously.
Because that's what I think, you let some of these mob people, these anarchist type of people, and it's like, okay, let them in the White House.
What's the next
what are we
step?
looking at, know? And so you can tell that throughout history, there's rich people who have no national loyalty, who are ready to topple any government and throw millions of people into chaos and disorder and bloodshed for whatever they trying to gain out of the situation. Is that something like what we're looking at right now with how things are going into the United States? This is a question I ask. And then who would benefit from that? So the point is, if you're talking about anger and you're talking about people coming together who are having anger, and your anger should fuel other people to be angry, so everyone can be angry together, and then do what?
Right.
You just, because somebody who's thinking is going to be harnessing that and using it for whatever they decide they want to use it for. And it's not going to be you deciding what you want, and it's not going to be you in the type of situation you want to be in at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting part that a lot of people forget to add to the logic of power, where it's there's both a positive and a negative intelligence that comes with power. Right? Anybody could be put in a position to kind of reign over a certain amount of people, or be in a position of power with people. Because
but more importantly, there's a positive and a negative intelligence for every human being.
Right, towards themselves.
Towards themselves. And what I think that people don't understand is we matter.
You said we matter?
We matter.
Oh, okay.
This might sound like mundane or very cliche, okay? But I think that people really don't think that they matter. So if you walking around angry and then everything you touch catches on fire because you're burning inside,
right.
You think it doesn't matter. You think it doesn't affect anybody, or you think it's not hurting anybody. No, you are on fire, and anything you're gonna touch is gonna burn. Right?
Yeah.
And then you think that your anger is righteous, and because your anger is righteous and because you're mad at something that's wrong, then you're right because you're mad at what's wrong, and you think that you being mad about somebody that you will never see in real life is affecting that person. No, it's affecting you. It's affecting the people around you more than anything, and you think it doesn't matter. You think it doesn't count. You think it doesn't, we matter. And so when you apply a negative intelligence, when you want to apply an intelligence that tells you don't look. Look at this one everyone's talking about. Don't look at the other one. Don't look here. You know, if you look and see, okay, we talked about Cameroon. We could talk about Sudan. I mean, everyone talks about Gaza, right? You could talk about Sudan. You could talk about Ethiopia. You could talk about Thailand and Cambodia. You could talk about all these places. There's suffering that's happening. I was watching the Attorney General Pam Bondi in her testify before Congress today, and it was just interesting to me the ease with which these politicians will focus on the issue that is good for their side to talk about.
Exactly.
And then they won't talk about what the other side concerns are. And both sides are like that. And it's almost like by extension, the American population has become like that. You talk about the things that are within your interest that you think your side is standing for.
Exactly.
And then that's a negative intelligence because it puts us in an us versus them type of situation. When it's us, this is it versus them.
Exactly.
Everybody loses.
Divide
because
and conquer.
everybody, divide and conquer. Everybody loses. We're all losing based on that. Because you know, these people, they get together and have dinner at the end of the day.
Man, it's such a big, it's a big concept that you bring in though, just with those two words, you know, we matter. And there's a logic that has to be presented in saying Black Lives Matter. It's you're taking the fact that people feel like they don't matter, capitalizing on it, right? Then now you have to, because to a certain degree that touches on this ideal that there's a black supremacy that the black people should look towards, right? You are supreme, you are better than white people. And then
I don't know, man. I think Black Lives Matter is just the idea that, like, okay, if one of us gets shot down in the street, that should matter.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like you take that and you direct it at the police.
Exactly.
And fine, police, yes, they do that. Guess who else does that? Other black people.
Word.
Guess you know.
Word.
And then we don't like. Why do we need police in our neighborhoods? Why? Because because okay, look, we live in Democrat-run cities, right? We have police departments, don't we? And then if someone breaks in your house or you have a suspicious person in your backyard, they're not supposed to be there. Who are you going to call? You going to call your neighbor next door?
Right.
No, you call the police.
Right.
Okay.
Do you
if we had community,
exactly.
Everybody on the block, you call somebody on the block, and you know you could have a group chat for your block, and there's like, boo, 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 there's someone in my backyard. Everyone mob up, and it's like, okay, this person gotta go.
I feel you, because we don't know.
But because we don't know our neighbors, we don't trust our neighbors. There's no like.
You
that's
could call
where
and
it
be
comes
like,
back
no,
to.
that's just Tyrone. He going through something right now. He been climbing fences.
Well, there you go. Right. And then it might not need to be nothing.
Yeah, I feel
And then, like, if you call the police, that guy might get shot.
It's over. Yeah, Tyrone's gone.
And then you say police brutality.
Exactly.
Well, who called the police?
The same people.
Right.
I feel you.
So, you know, it's deeper. I'm not saying that the police aren't a problem. I'm just saying it's always deeper than the way people are taking it.
Yeah.
It's like we just get so mentally lazy. We don't want to get to the depth of things and what the problem is. And then you want to get mad. And be like a burning ember and burn everything around you. And there's no strategy involved. Like, what do you really, if you think that there's a problem, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And if you're not thinking along those lines, then shut up. Yeah. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I feel you. It is so profound, though, because the anger itself, I believe it was Neb Naba who said that at some point, I don't know if it was in a class, I don't want to misquote anyone, but I heard someone say, one of the elders in the mission say that, it was Nikitam, it was Elder Nikitam. Nikitam said, the Makaru is not absolved of frustration or anger. He said it himself. Like,
Yeah.
I started this because I was frustrated, but it took so much thinking to put into it to be like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is what the goal is going to be. This is how it's going to function.
Yes.
These are the principles that it'll
Yes.
function on, so on and so forth, so that it's not just an expression of anger that just burns things down. It actually builds something. It preserves something, you know, so that it can move forward and kind of positively have an effect on people.
So this is what we call a full circle moment.
Exactly.
Because you were asking me kind of like about the mission getting started, and in some case, in some sense, like my motivation and being, you know, involved in it in the beginning. I had this feeling like,
Keep going.
as I was saying, you know, before, a sense of like, you know, something's not right, things are not right. And from being a teenager, I was like, I want to be a part of a change. I made that choice as a teenager. I want to be a part of the change, like, you know, like saying, I want to change the world. I mean, you know, people say that. I was saying that to myself. I didn't go around saying it, but I was saying that to myself. And you know, I thought about things I could do. I thought about things I could be involved. Because as a late teen, I also had a near-death experience. I got meningitis, and I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. I easily could have died, I guess you could say, you know. And that kind of changed my perspective that I want to, you know, to be more intentional about my life. You know, like
Let me take this thing seriously.
Yeah, let me, you know. If
feel you.
I'm talking about this, you know, let me be about what I'm saying. And so that's something that always came. And I don't know if I always realized how much it affected me, but I know it affected me a lot in terms of, you know, my kind of direction. But in any case, I thought about things I could do. From that point, I, you know, also started thinking about health. I was always into writing. I was into learning, teaching, and spiritual things, and you know, and then I started learning about Africa, and then that's when I found out about, I mean, the Earth Center at the time, which it was called the Earth Center, but the Earth Center in hieroglyph language is Kebtah. Kebtah, you know, it's just the same thing as saying Earth Center. I don't know if everybody understands that, so I just want to say it out loud. But that point is, at the time, you know, like I said, 2004, I went on this political. I had actually been in you know, learning under Master Naba, under the Makaru. Before that, 2004, I went on this political convention. You know, different things I was looking into, like this might be, you know, and then I looked at. I just had to take a moment. I had to look at what Master Naba was doing. I was like, he's doing anything I could think to be trying to do. And then look at all this he has behind him. Look at the spirit experience. Look at the knowledge. And I was like, you know, if I really want to make a change, I want to be a part of something that could be part of a change, I'm going to invest myself in this. And from that point, that was it. Like I never, you know, look left or look right. Like there's something else I might be trying to do. Because I was like, this is it. And it's like, well, whatever, you know, he passed away. You were asking about the evolution of things. You have to include that in there. He passed away. He passed away in 2008. And at the time we had 3 or 4 locations. You know, a handful of students, people who's writers. I mean, I feel like we were activists at the time because the things we used to write about were very, you know, very revolutionary. We would take any topic and we say, hey, we're going to talk about this, and we would write about it. This is before you had all the social media and before you had all the YouTube and stuff like that. You know, I feel like maybe we could have done a better job of evolving into the, you know, what we're trying to become now. But it's been a work on progress. Yeah, I mean, we a bunch of young people in our 20s trying to hold things together and make sure it doesn't fall apart. And so that's what it's been. I mean, you know, we take what we learn and try to make something out of it so that it can continue. And that's, so that can be a legacy, because it's always been a legacy.
Right. Right.
And so I like that you said about, okay, Master Naba being frustrated. Yeah, you feel this burning need, like something has to be done. And let me, if nobody's doing it, let me be the one to do what I can do.
Right. And that's the important part.
And then, let me do what I can do, and then let me think, strategize, plan, put something together. I'll give you another example from Master Naba. Like we had these classes, that we were taking, and at one time one of my classmates he was frustrated, because we were learning about these things, and it's like the world can't be like this. Right. You know what I mean?
Breaking down.
Right. And then my classmate's like, if I imitate him, some people will know what I'm talking. Let me keep it. Makaru. In this type of situation, what can we do? And he's like, you plan your escape.
Wow.
That was one of the most profound things to me that I ever heard. We in a situation where everything is wrong.
Wow.
Everything is wrong. Slavery happened, whatever you can talk about. These people talking about America being built on stolen land, celebrities even saying that. That's crazy. I never thought I'd see the day. But, all the things people are saying, and it's true. Everything is wrong. The whole world is upside down. But understanding that doesn't solve the problem. And you can't just say like, oh, you just woke up, like, how in the Matrix, he took the red pill and then he woke up.
Yeah.
Look at where he was.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't, just because you woke up doesn't mean everything is better. You really see the reality. Like, this is where we really are.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, what do you do? You have to use your intelligence, and you have to understand that we didn't just get here in a day. We didn't get here in a year. We didn't get here in a decade or even a century. Not even 1,000. It took thousands of years for us to get here, bro.
Right.
We're not going to get out of this tomorrow. So you plan your escape. You plan your escape, I imagine in slavery times, people who were captives say, we need to survive this because one day my children are going to get out these chains, even if I don't get to see the day myself. If we're not thinking like that, I don't know what we're doing. You just basically, I call it just, there's this term virtue signaling. I think there's a lot of that going on. I really do, because I don't think that people really want things to change that much. You just feel like, okay, if only, the police would stop beating people up, if only, ICE would stop deporting people, or no, man, no. The whole shit is, I'm not going to pull out my Chicago tongue here. I mean, we all know that language. I'm not going there. But I'm just saying that the whole thing is
I get what you mean. Yeah. Though. It has its way. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and it's going to manifest what it manifests, and it's not going to be something other than what it is. And it's like, okay, but everybody's depending on it at the same time.
Exactly.
The system has managed to get us all depending on it, and that's the part that's like the problem. Because you can't want the system not to be the system and then want the system to be the system. You still want to benefit from the system when it's time to pump your gas, when it's
Right.
time to,
When it's
go to
time
the
for that
grocery
upgrade
store.
on the new iPhone.
I mean, even just the idea of food or being able to have sugar. Did you know that not long ago, like sugar was not even a thing, and then when it became a product, I watched a documentary about this, and just sugar is like was only for royalties for a very long time. It was
never knew
only
that.
about 500 years ago. It was only the slave
Shit.
trade. It was only the slave trade that made sugar a product that became accessible for everybody.
That's
Sugar,
crazy.
sugar. Salt is not a product that was available globally. Spices, you had to go to specific places for
Yeah.
spices. So when you go to your grocery store and you see all the things your heart might desire that you might want to eat, it's because of this global system that's been created to be able to force people to make these products to make it accessible globally. This is the system. This is just talking about food.
Yeah.
Just talking about what your tongue wants to taste. And it has nothing to do even with what's good for the body, which is why we eat in the first place. It's what the tongue wants to taste. And how many people have died for that?
Word. For you
So
to
that
enjoy.
in France, because cocoa and coffee, they don't grow in France or England. Tea, like England is known for tea. The leaves that are used for tea, that doesn't grow in England.
Exactly.
It has to come like somebody has to be convinced to grow it so that it can be sent to Europe for European people to want to drink. Okay? That's the point. Tires for our cars. People when they talk about under King Leopold, 10 million people in the Congo were killed for that. It was over rubber for tires, rubber trees for tires for the newly developing automobile market, so that now that everyone can have cars, motorcycles, it comes from rubber. Because now they don't have to kill people to make rubber anymore. People are making it because they feel like they want to have a job. That's the system of slavery, where the chains come off of the wrists and the ankles and they go just on the mind. Now I need that money. So I'm going to go work and I'm going to do what I'm told and be a good boy, and I'm going to make that rubber so you can have your cars. And everyone understands the necessity of it. And it's the same thing right now with the mines. Now everyone's talking about rare earth critical minerals, and before that you were just talking about coltan, the columbite tantalite that only is found in the Congo.
Right.
And so for the last 150 years, Congo has been bleeding over these resources that the modern system is using. And so that's why I'm saying you can't have I love when Chris Rock came out with his stand-up called Selective Outrage. I was like, that is such the appropriate term for everything happening in all the movements nowadays. Like, you just having selective outrage. You feel like you're outraged, and you went, you marched, you posted an angry meme on Facebook, and then you go collect your check and you feel good about yourself.
Right.
It's
And you
virtue
watch
signaling. You
Netflix
don't really
on
want,
your 64
you don't,
inch
right,
TV.
yeah, and then you watch the Epstein
Right.
documentary. It's like you feel, and you're ready to keep doing it, and you're not ready.
The thing about where you started this point with the plan your escape thing is it takes the plan, though. Like, plan your escape and have a continuation over time, like throughout time and space, that is not like finite, where some people just jump to the escape.
Because you can't handle things being the way they are and think you can still maintain your center of gravity in the middle of all of that. Because that's how we've been conditioned to be so fragile, and just anything can settle. I mean, like you talked about sisters, and I would say brothers too, who can't get along with the significant other. Like, if you can't have the mental, emotional wherewithal to handle a relationship with one person, how are you gonna deal with the world then? Yeah, I had, then you learn about Jeffrey Epstein, like, okay, this man or woman who you can't stand, you hate their guts, and it's like you put them next to Jeffrey Epstein and all his famous clients. But guess what? You still working for all they ask. I'm telling that to everybody. You still work for those people, and you don't want to admit that that's what you're serving. That's what you're dedicating your whole life to doing. And then you get involved, and this is for all you people out here who get involved with something that's trying to bring something different, and then you want to judge little stuff, and then you go say, fuck those people, I'm going back to Epstein. I'm going back to Trump. I'm going back to Biden. I'm going back to the people who's bombing and holocausting kids in Gaza. I'm destroying whole countries and creating, like mass migration and human trafficking. I mean, what you think about these people crossing the Sahara to leave through Libya? They destroy Libya. Now people are going across the Sahara Desert, going to Libya, and drowning in the Mediterranean Sea. How is that different from the trans-Saharan slave trade? You still got the transatlantic slave trade, trans-Saharan slave trade, Atlantic slave trade going on, trans-Indian Oceans, all these slave trades going, people going to Dubai, ended up slaves, sex slaves and everything. But you can't handle dealing with the person next to you. How will you ever fight back?
I swear, y'all, I didn't think that this was gonna go here. I thought it was gonna be a light episode.
I'm on one today, man.
I thought it was gonna be a light episode.
People don't let me talk sometimes. You wouldn't know that the fire's inside. It's because you have to keep it on simmer. Like you just have to keep it enough to keep that water hot. You have to keep that water hot and make sure that you're still able to cook, but you don't want to burn.
I feel you.
So that's why everyone sees me like it's like no, I'm just not trying to catch everything on fire because it's there. The fire is there, bro. I swear. It's just just keep it on simmer, man. I have to keep it on simmer.
I mean, it would have to be. And I hate to stop you while you're on the road.
No, I know.
We gotta close it up.
I know we're not trying to go for 3-4 more hours. We could, but
honestly though, I appreciate all of the sentiments that you're bringing, and it's giving me a lot to think about. And I want to highlight real quick that Kebtah community, our comprehensive membership, our comprehensive global membership. You can find at kebtah.org, where we talk about some of these things, and there's a lot of updates right now that we're putting into our Connect space. That are talking about what's going on with the AES and how some of the things that you're talking about are developing.
We didn't even have time to talk about
AES. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to it. Yeah. We'll get to it. Just so you guys know, I'm gonna be here in Medita.
If you haven't heard of AES, just type in Google AES, 3 letters. Exactly. You just put it in Google.
And you'll get what you're looking for.
Exactly.
For sure. Yes. Like I was saying, I really do appreciate it though, because with what we're doing with Kebtah community now and integrating this sort of a level of journalism, so to speak, where we're doing the job of combating what the modern media is normally putting out about these leaders that are doing revolutionary things.
Yes.
If Patrice Lumumba was alive right now, I can only hope that he would be proud to see that we're supporting what Ibrahim Traoré is doing to put out the full narrative of what's going on. Because just the other day I was telling a friend the story of Nasimbe Ayadema. As we get told the story is one way, and then the way that everyone else tells the story, or the modern media tells the story, is completely different. So I just wanted to highlight that a lot of what Kasabez is talking about on Kebtah community, you can find these more authentic takes from us who have been here, who have seen what's going on. The Zezia herself just put out an article highlighting some of the things that are happening here as a person who's here. who's actually
Yeah.
seeing things and being.
Did you mention that we're in Burkina Faso when we opened?
Huh?
Did you mention that we're in Burkina Faso when we opened?
I don't think I did.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're here in the
Burkina.
motherland. Yeah.
We're here many times.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, so but stay tuned because we're gonna be doing more of these episodes of Gator Gates here on the soil in Burkina Faso and in Togo while we're there for a celebration. And I just want to make sure that everybody tunes in and takes this opportunity to kind of get it and see some of the things while we're here. I'll be doing my best to go live as often as possible with as many elders in the work as I can, so that we can get the word out. You know,
Yeah.
to make sure that people understand what's actually going on here, and not just have this sort of fantasized idea about what's going on that you either get fed from the media or whatever outlets you're getting it from. So.
please, can I
Yeah,
mention
of course.
something on the membership before we? Yeah, well, we have a Kebtah community, and it's the idea is to build community. The idea is to build community and bring people together who don't get to always be in the same place, but you get to be a part of something that's global, and you get to be a part of something where people are getting together and sharing ideas. And you have to start with ideas. You have to start with what's in your mind to do before you can do something. So you don't have the idea to do something if it didn't come from somewhere. It's not going to just come by itself. So you have to be amongst like-minded people, or people who are of the mind of the direction you're trying to go. And so the community is going to be that. There's, a contribution that also helps the activities of this, because it's a mission, the mission.
Right.
Like I just saw recently, people are mad about about being asked to pay for Ghanaian citizenship. And I mean, they might be taxing a little bit in Ghana, I'm not going to lie, but I think that the concept of okay, you coming from a place with resources, put some of your resources where you're trying to go. You want the country to be a place that's habitable and good for you to live, and to have the things that you want to have, but you don't want to put your money into it.
Okay.
Like I think that that mentality of don't come for my money. That it's a big. I mean, I know personally, for having to wrestle with that mentality in myself about hey, I don't want to have to pay for things that it's like I should feel like I should be able to have for free, because it's like this is what we all need. But it's like nah, if you didn't put your money into it,
Then what do you expect?
how do you expect it to be able to function? Because you function, you need money. But anyway, but the most important thing is everyone wants to be a part of something. You paying your Netflix, you paying your Amazon Prime, you're paying this, you're paying that. Pay to be a part of something that is going to be serving you, feeding you, and it's something that's growing. It's something that's growing, and we need more people to really come and be a part of it, to invest themselves into growing as a group of people that can, again, plan together what we can do for each other and for a world that we're trying to see in the future for our children.
Well said. And with that, this has been another episode of the Gator Gates podcast. Thank everyone for tuning in. Again, Kebtah Community is a comprehensive global membership. So wherever you are, whether you're in Kazakhstan or Pakistan or Chicagostan, it doesn't matter. Check out kebtah.org, and in the section that says what we do, you can see everything about our membership and the charitable projects that we have. We support displaced elders from Fada and Gorma, who are now facing the results of some of the things that we were talking about, just this evolution of this system, and colonialism, and the way that it's encroaching upon these people who are trying to just preserve their own lifestyle, right? A lifestyle that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with trying to take someone else's lifestyle away from them. They just want to preserve their own. So know that if you do join Kebtah Community, and you are giving that contribution, that's where those proceeds go. Also want to
Can
shout
I
out.
say something on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know you try to wrap this up.
Nah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
say
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have elders who are part of the family of those who have been preserving this traditional knowledge that didn't come from nowhere. It's been preserved from a long time by people who are just humbly trying to live their life. You hear about the poor people in Africa who live on less than $1 a day. If you can live on less than $1 a day, do you need money then?
Word.
They've been chased from their land because the French and these people want the gold that's in their land. So they fund, this is what is being reported from here in Burkina Faso, from what people see in real life, because before Ibrahim Traore took power, the people were blockading French troops trying to move throughout the country because they're like, we know what y'all are on. It took like months just to let them move out of the country. So there's, the revolution that's taking place here didn't just come out of nowhere. People on the land are like, nah, we tired of y'all. And that we don't need you to be moving from place to place like you own the place. So these people have been here, and then yet there's terrorism rampant, and then people being chased from their land, and then somehow the mining companies still have the confidence to come and increase their activities at the same time when people can't be at their homes. So like these people, all they want to do is get back to their villages where they can live on less than $1 a day. Like that's all they want. But for the time being, until the army can kind of fight these jihadists out, we looking to get them we've gotten them some land in Fata and Gorma, in the main city nearby where they live at, or where they're coming from, where their villages are. So that's where they have to kind of set up, and they've been they've had it rough for a minute in the city. So they we trying to make sure that they can have a place to go, even if they can't go back to their village right away, because we've been hoping like, well, they could go back. It's like, well, we can't just keep waiting until they can go back. We got to make sure they have a good place. So that's what that fundraiser is about, the Displaceable People's Resettlement Program. We trying to give a place for people to go, and they can have some land, they can build their houses, and so the next part of the project, it might be premature to talk about it, but as far as I understand, we're trying to build them a will on that land. So it's like, we just trying to get some water there so they can have some infrastructure.
Give them that basic,
be able to grow a little food, build some houses, and they can live the way they used to living, and at least have some place of their own. So that's what that's about. Believe it or not, we just make sure to make it happen. And it's like, if people are giving, the money gets there, and if people aren't giving the money, we're gonna find a way.
Right.
But for those who want to be a part of something, who feel like they want to make a difference, you want to feel good about doing something positive, and you have the means. Hopefully, I wish that you have the means. You can, make something happen. Give $10, $20. Make a recurring donation, $10, $15 a month, or whatever you can do, will help a lot for our people here in Burkina Faso.
Kasabez said it best. Again, this has been another episode of the Gator Gates podcast. Thank you. He don't want it to be over. I'm sure he got more to say.
No, I mean, we didn't even get to what we wanted to
Right. But again, stay tuned for the next episode. And yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, for sure. You already know, Kasabez. That's what it's about. Stay tuned. Yeah. You could have done that. She said I could have pressed the